My name's Devin aka Devin SuperTramp, and this is Behind the Brand.
A million miles away when I had a little mind that I needed to say, but I don't now, cause I'm mom and dad, I'm a grown-up boy, saving all my money, gonna buy myself a new toy, took a jet to the bottom of the dictionary mind, where I'm making up the words to a song that doesn't rhyme. If you can't see me, then you better leave it know. Wait, scratch that.
Elliot, welcome to another edition of Behind the Brand. We're live at VidCon, and we're with SuperTuber Devin SuperTramp. Devin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, glad to be here.
Devin, how'd you get this job?
It's a good question. Since I was little, I've always been making movies, so I've always been very passionate about it. But 4 years ago, my roommate at the time, his name was Jeff Harmon, and he was working for a company called Aura Brush, which is a tongue cleaner.
Our sponsor today.
Our sponsor today, as you see, so everything comes full circle. But he was like, I think YouTube's the next big thing for launching companies. And I wasn't in advertising, I was just going to school for filming.
What year is this? Give us context.
4.5 years ago, so it's 2014, so 2009. Yeah, 2009.
3 or 4 years after YouTube invented.
Yep, exactly. Okay. And he was like, let's follow, I've been following these YouTubers and they're working with products to launch their companies. So this guy just showed me the tongue cleaner Aura Brush, so he's like, what can we do to market this? So he came up with this idea to do an informal video.
Yep.
So
Did you shoot that?
So I shot it, I directed it, and then we worked together with basically Jeff's ideas, Jeff Harmon's ideas.
Yeah.
Did that video, put it on YouTube, and then after using marketing and other strategies, it went viral or went super shareable. And then all of a sudden they started sharing their product or selling their product, and then the company launched to where it's at now.
That's right.
So I did their first like 15 videos, so I was working directly with Jeff, so I was learning all the secrets on YouTube and social media, and then that's when I came to VidCon the first year, and then that's when I learned all the other stuff from all the other YouTubers. I was taking all the notes as I could, and then I was going to film school at the time at BYU. I was end of the third year, and then I realized the power of YouTube. So then I basically dropped out of film school, started my own YouTube channel, moved to Hawaii to pursue that and a couple other projects, and then I had a lot of free time, so I just started doing YouTube videos, and then literally it just took off. As that happened, all these companies saw it, and then they hired me, and then the rest is history.
So I want to unpack that a little bit, because that's...
it's a lot of information all at once.
That's awesome though, but so your genre is sort of like this high action, high energy, no dialogue, short little video that's very shareable. Talk to us about the formula for that.
Yeah, so what we found out for what we do is our stuff, it hits every audience. It's not just people that speak English. And that's because it is international, because there's no language barriers, because we don't have a lot of dialogue.
What's the age range and who's watching that video?
Our biggest demographic is anyone from 14 to like 30, 35.
Okay, wow.
The biggest audience being like 16 to probably like 24.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's about 70% males, 30% female.
Okay, interesting. What is the secret? You know, we know that you can't manufacture viral. Videos go viral because of certain things, you know. Talk to us about how important views and subscribers and the whole model is, and how you're making money.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple different factors, because everyone wants a viral video. There's so many factors that play into it. One of the things that we found that works super well is creating content that people can connect with, but it's still larger than life. So example, one of our most watched videos is a rope swing through an arch. Now it's much bigger than normal live, as far as you don't normally do that, but everyone's done a rope swing. You know, so you can connect with the rope swing, and then you see it much bigger scale, so then you want to share that saying, hey, we should do this with our friends. Actually, the video we just released is a really good example. We did a big slip and slide off a 50-foot cliff. Everyone's done a slip and slide, but it's larger than life, so it's really shareable. You're
just elevating something that everyone already knows, and you just take it to the next level or beyond.
Yep, so that's kind of what we go, as far as the process goes, is like, what is something that everyone has done, but what can we do to elevate it to the next level?
So what advice would you give? I know some people are watching this, they're just getting started with their channels. They're aspiring content creators, or they're doing their thing right now, and they're not maybe getting the traction that they want. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, well, so for our first year, like, we had a big hit video from the beginning, but then the traffic significantly dropped. And then we basically I put out videos every 6 months. I did that for a year, just a couple of videos, and nothing happened for the first year. And then a couple of friends, and learning from Aura Brush, they're like, in order to grow, you have to have consistent content. They say consistent content means a consistent audience. So then I started doing a video every other week. Same kind of high quality productions. And at first I was like, there's no way I can produce these kind of videos every other week, but it was like, in order to grow, I have to do that.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and then I noticed I actually started growing, getting more subscribers or followers, and then other people started contacting me to do other jobs.
Yeah.
And then once that picked up, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna make this my only focus, and I started doing one video every week. And I've been doing that for the last year and a half. I missed a couple weeks, but generally speaking, we have a video every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then that's what I suggest to anyone, is just put out a video every week, even if it's not your perfect video, just so you can remind people that you're still there.
Give us an idea of the tipping point. So, you know, you were getting no traction, and then all of a sudden, it just all started to tip, and your subscriber count went way up, and good things started happening. What was that number? Was it, 10,000? Was it 100,000? Was it a million?
Right.
When did it tip?
We have 120 videos on our YouTube channel that we've produced. I'd say the first 30, maybe 40, like nothing significantly happened as far as like getting all these brand deals and working with all these big companies. But honestly, once we started doing regular content every week, that was the tipping point for us. And that was a year and a half, 2 years ago. So basically 2 years into it, once we started that change, then everything changed for us.
So did it change, did it double or 10x, or at what point did you realize, well, we have 10,000 now, and holy crap, we have now 100,000, like a 10x?
Right. Yeah, so we were averaging, I would say, once things started kind of slowly picking up, we were averaging about 1 million views a month.
Okay.
And now we're averaging, it fluctuates, but generally speaking, we're averaging about 25 to 30 million views a month.
But it's a function of subscriber count too, right?
Yes, for sure. So as far as subscribers go as well, originally I would have several viral videos, but subscribers wouldn't grow because they would see the video, they'd go to my channel, and we didn't have any content on there.
Yeah.
So it was about having a lot of content. They go to our channel and say, oh, they have 30 videos, so then they stay, and then they get familiar with their work. So that was a big thing too, is you don't want a big hit at the start, you want it later, so then you have them there, and then they watch the rest of your videos. We had a big hit earlier on, but no one subscribed, no one stayed because we didn't give them a reason to stay.
It's a one-hit wonder. I see. Okay, that's very smart. Let's talk about budget. So, back in the day, maybe you're spending a lot less. I think a lot of people take for granted what it really takes to create these YouTube videos. Because as a creator, you're doing everything, right?
Right.
All the pre-production, writing, development, scouting, whatever it is. You're editing, you're doing the music, annotations. It's there's a lot. What were you spending then? What are you spending now? Give us an idea of sort of your budget range.
So at the start of our channel, I was borrowing a camera actually from Orabrush.
Yeah.
So I didn't even own any camera equipment whatsoever. And then my friend had a Canon T2i camera, which is about a $1,000 camera.
Yeah.
So we just went out with our friends and we filmed a bike jump. So it didn't cost anything for locations. It was just our friends, us having fun. We all brought our own food, and we shot that for a couple different days. We released that, and then I'd say the first year, every video we were doing was completely, essentially for free. It didn't cost us any money. And then I'd say as that happened, brands started seeing what we were doing, so then they started coming to us with actual money so we could do bigger and better things.
Yeah.
And then now, generally speaking, we're still fine doing things with $0 budgets because that's kind of our roots, but we can go anywhere from $5,000 to $500,000 on budget, depending on what we're shooting and the logistics of it all.
So talk about some of the brand integration, some of the collaboration, because I think it's actually really important the way that you're doing them. So brands like Mountain Dew, Ford, some of these other guys you worked with, it's not on the Mountain Dew website. It's on your channel.
Yep.
Why is that? What's the strategy there? And explain, kind of break it down why they're doing it that way.
Yeah. So essentially these brands, whether it be Ford, Mountain Dew, Ubisoft, they see what we're doing, we have a huge audience, and they see that we're successful with that audience. So they want us to basically, they're like, we trust you, here's the criteria, we want you to use a Ford car, we want to show off it going fast and take corners. What do you want to do with that?
So they're giving you creative license.
So they give us complete creative license for the most part.
How good is that?
It's amazing, and I love it because it's they trust us, so we get to work together in a collaboration. It's still a collaboration, we want their feedback and stuff, but it is them trusting us because it's our audience, so we can do what we want to do to basically make anything happen.
How about collaboration with other YouTubers or personalities?
Yeah, so we did a big collaboration with Freddie W, where we actually flew them down to Salt Lake, where we're based, and we did a World War II video.
Yeah, I saw that. The Canon one, right?
Yeah, the Canon one.
Yeah,
we did a couple. We did three videos, or 2 videos with them, and then they did one video on their channel.
Yeah.
So we did an Indiana Jones one and a camera one, and they did one on their channel as well. And at the end of their video, they were like, check out Devin's channel. And then at the end of ours, we were like, check out their channel. Now their channel was much bigger, so we benefited significantly more, but that's why we flew them down there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd say from that collaboration, we probably gained around 100,000 subscribers or followers. So that's the big thing with YouTube is they call it cross-pollination, where you want to do collaborations with either brands or YouTubers or other filmmakers, so each person benefits. And I mean, I'm not taking away from Freddie W, they're just adding and they're giving me more fans, so it's a mutual benefit.
Super smart. Collaboration is the name of the game. You always say it's about the shot.
It is all about the shot.
Yeah, and recently, we have this relationship with Red Digital. We love Red cameras, and we shoot on a lot of different stuff. But talk to us about some of the equipment that you use and why you use it. And like I've seen recently, you've done a lot of stuff tagging 4K and now 6K.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So I mean, we started with Canon cameras because they were small, they were cheap, they were affordable, they work amazing. So I mean, we've been super happy with that. But yeah, we use the Canon 5D Mark III. GoPros 3s, and we use those because we can stick them in areas we normally can't stick other cameras.
What's your favorite lenses? A 16 to 35?
16 to 35 is our favorite kind of go-to lens, and the 14 and the 70 to 200, all Canon lenses. Yeah. And then we actually just bought 2 Red Dragon cameras, so we're shooting everything in 6K because that's kind of where we want to be ahead as far as the future goes, future-proof. We don't want our stuff to get outdated, so that's why we switched to the whole super high resolution. And then we actually just bought a Phantom Hero camera, which shoots super slow motion, does 1,500 frames per second. Yeah. So that's kind of our other camera that we use for different, it just depends on what we're shooting. But mostly now we're shooting all on the Dragon in 4 and 6K, just because we feel that's where the future is. And a lot of our income actually comes from selling stock video footage. So all these TV companies, for example, Samsung, they come to us and they're like, we see that you have 4K content, we have our 4K TVs, we would love to buy your footage for TV. So we kind of use that as a different business model.
So smart. So you've got collaboration, you've got brand integration, you've got stock footage. Those are the 3 ways you're making money.
Yeah, so I always kind of look at it this way. So AdSense, YouTube, they basically put advertisements on our YouTube channel. So there, and then the other source is brand integration. So like working with Ford or Mountain Dew. And then our third one is stock video footage. So that's our 3 different ways of income. And each one's kind of, it's its own entity.
What's the hardest part of being you?
People, they see me and they're like, all you do is go out there and party and you're living the dream. Everyone's screaming out there. And the thing is, I absolutely love my job, but it is work. It's a crazy amount of work. And I mean, I'll go home and then I'm editing all night till 4 in the morning, and then I have to wake up at 6 to film the sunrise. So we're kind of going. We don't have a huge social life. Like our social life is like during these interviews and on set when we're working with our friends. So that's kind of how we're able to actually balance any kind of interaction with people. But it is work. And so I say that's kind of the hardest thing with what we do, and the reality of it. It is work.
It seems like you split crews now. You're just sort of doing a divide and conquer. You've got your little SuperTramp crew out here while you're off doing. Are you doing more dividing and conquering?
Yeah, so I finally found another guy that I super trust. His name's Parker Walbeck. Yeah. And essentially, he was someone that saw what I was doing. He picked up a camera.
Well, he's been on your team for a long time, right?
Yeah, he's been there for the last 1.5 years. Yeah. So he saw what I was doing. He came to one of my shoots. We became friends. And then he showed me his YouTube channel. I'm like, your stuff's amazing. So I brought him on full time. So now I'll go somewhere. Like, for example, I'll go out to Dubai. He'll go out to Jerusalem. And he'll shoot something and I'll shoot something, so we're able to produce content every week. So.
That's the consistency. Yeah. And I think that's a good message too to underscore is you got to find people that you trust, that you know, like, and trust, right? You want to work with.
Sure.
What are you most proud of?
It's usually the videos that do the best. Like that's kind of how it affects us. Video that I was super passionate about going into it. It's one of my favorite video games. It's called Assassin's Creed.
Saw that.
And everyone.
Epic.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
Who was the parkour guy that did that?
His name's Ronnie, and he was just a construction worker working with his dad, but he was really passionate about like stunt work. So I contacted him and I was like, I want to do this video. We're not doing it for Assassin's Creed, the video game. I'm just doing it because I really care about it.
Where did you shoot it?
We shot it in Salt Lake City.
Okay. Was it hard to get all the permits, or was it pretty easy?
There's no permits because we're shooting on a 5D, so it's really small, so it doesn't look like we're a film. And it's just me and him. Okay. So we're running gunning, shooting in Salt Lake. We do that video, and I mean, it has now 26 million views, I think.
It's unreal. It's so amazing.
But it was awesome because once we did that video, Ronnie, who was in that video, like his career took off. So now he quit his job, and that's all he does for a living. And then we took that video to Ubisoft, who makes the games. and they've hired an assistant to do like 6 or 7 other videos. We have 3 or 4 other in the process. I mean, I think that's another tip I suggest to people is like, don't go out there begging for work. Like, go out there, prove what you can do. Say, this is what I just did, and you know, and it just opens up more opportunities when you can just prove it.
Yeah. Well, there's so much more I could ask, but we only have a little bit of time. We've been spending a few minutes with SuperTramp, Devin Graham. Devin, thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Behind the Brand features the people who are making things happen. Get the insight to grow your biz from experts who've done it. Get behind the brand.
Bang. All right, that's the answer.
And I cover your body, and I call for help. And they're like, where's Keckner? I'm like, I don't know, I didn't see him.